Evidence will show that he did so to cover up crimes relating to the 2016 election. Donald Trump, executives at the publishing company American Media Incorporated, Mr. Cohen, and others agreed in 2015 to a catch-and-kill scheme. That is, a scheme to buy and suppress negative information to help Mr. Trump's chance of winning the election. As part of this scheme, Donald Trump and others made 3 payments to people who claimed to have negative information about Mr. Trump.
Yeah. JoJo from Jers is with me. She says, sure, sex is great, but have you seen those photos of Poopy Pants Donald at his arraignment? I think it might be my screensaver forever. That is. Hi, Bob. Hi.
Hi. Guess what I'm doing as soon as we're done with the show today?
What?
I am printing and framing Donald Trump's first courtroom sketch as a criminal defendant.
Yeah.
That writer's sketch by Jane Rosenberg is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
She couldn't have made his face look sadder. It was just like, I mean, his mouth is just an upside down letter U. That's how. This is how frowny he is in that drawing. I love it so much.
Can I just say, you and I, right before we got on, talked about, you said, am I the only one that doesn't care how much they show Donald Trump? I'm like, are you kidding me? We are owed this after 7 years of torture. I enjoyed every second of his humiliation. I didn't care about any other news yesterday. I was like,
since 2015.
No one's taking my joy. Go ahead.
Since Kimberly and I first met, Donald Trump has been gaslighting us and telling us that he hasn't been committing any crimes, and we've been observing all of it, all of the criminal activity, all the corruption, all the duplicity, and finally we get to this point where he's finally indicted, he's finally arraigned, dragged into court, and everyone's like, I don't want to watch him get arraigned. What are we doing here, cable news? I'm like, no, this is it. This is the reward for all those anguished days and years of waking up off balance, feeling like we're leaning too far back in our chair, and almost falling over backward and catching ourselves at the last minute.
Yes.
This is our reward, and I think we should enjoy it. I think we should savor this.
Also, Bob, not just the political porn of watching Poopy Pants get arrested, but also just the waves of you and I being right about everything is also right there. Yeah. By the way, Angry Staffer said, didn't folks call the doorman story a baseless conspiracy theory during Russiagate? Curiouser and curiouser. I mean,
this is
all
my
of
favorite
this stuff, right, that was in the Mueller report, and I do have to ask, I know Joy Reid and certainly others have brought this up, but what is up with the DOJ? I mean, it just she was saying, why does it fall on these local prosecutors like Alvin Bragg and Bonnie Willis? I mean, this really puts a spotlight on why wasn't this pursued, after, Barr was out of office.
So many political concerns, I'm sure, like, what's history going to think of us? What are we doing? And obviously, these are crimes that could get prosecuted on their merit, as Alvin Bragg is illustrating, as Bonnie Willis will soon illustrate, as even Jack Smith will illustrate quite soon. I think these are all going to turn into indictments of Donald Trump, but at the same time, too much timidity.
Yeah, I think that was Joy's point, is this is literally the job of the federal government, is to protect federal elections, that this should be federal charges as well.
Right. I think looking at that cup half full, though, as long as they're local charges or state charges, he can't get pardoned for any of that, which is true. I think advantageous given the fact that January 2025 is just around the corner. And if a Republican ends up winning by some fluke in 2024, that's it for any federal investigations into Donald Trump. Right. So in that regard, I'm glad that they're happening at this level, that he can't escape from all of it. And by the way, just in terms of that doorman story, that's my favorite aspect of all of this, because I'm imagining it's a child out of wedlock that Donald Trump was trying to cover up with the help of AMI. And I'm imagining somewhere out there's a child who looks half like Donald Trump and half like Vladimir Putin. It's just...
by the way, Midas Touch said, very fitting, Putin also suffered a major defeat today. Finland is now officially part of NATO. It has the feel finally of the good guys starting to win. I mean, between this incredibly critical judge race in Wisconsin. But here's one point. Aaron Rupar said Bragg says his office has new evidence that wasn't available prior to his time as DA that played a role in the decision to charge Trump for the hush payments now. So that may be also part of this DOJ picture, right?
Yeah, I think so. This is going to be so fascinating to see how these all land. I think one of the things that I've been anticipating is the next indictment's coming from Fani Willis in Georgia. Yeah. I feel as though as soon as we end this segment, that's when it's going to happen. Yeah. Or as soon as I finish my show tomorrow or whatever, that's when it's going to happen. It's one of those things where it can happen at any moment, and when you least expect it, there'll be another announcement. And the fact that Jack Smith continues to close the walls of the trash compactor in around Donald Trump is really exciting too. With the Secret Service agents, and now all of these former aides have to testify. Yeah. Dan Scavino, Stephen Miller. Yeah. And my favorite part about that too is the fact that they all have to retain counsel, which means hundreds of thousands of dollars that they have to spend. Mm-hmm. And that's good news for me because for all of us, because we can, enjoy the Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Them having to go into debt
as Malcolm
in defense
Nance
of
says,
Donald Trump. Yeah.
Schadenfreude delicious.